The old mosque stood at the edge of the village, hidden beneath the shadows of towering palm trees. Its once glorious minaret now leaned slightly to one side, and the call to prayer had long been silenced. No one dared to enter after sunset, for the villagers whispered of strange occurrences, soft murmurs in the wind, flickering lights in the empty halls, and shadows that moved when no one was there. It had been abandoned for years, ever since the last imam left without explanation. Some said he saw something that night, something that turned his hair white before he disappeared forever. Others believed the mosque had become the home of a jinn, lurking in the dark corners, waiting for anyone foolish enough to enter after Maghrib. The curious boy. Hamza was 12 years old, a boy filled with an insatiable curiosity. He had grown up listening to the stories the elders told about the abandoned mosque, but he never truly believed them. To him, they were just tales meant to scare children into obedience. One evening, as he played near the outskirts of the village, his friend Bilal nudged him with an excited grin. "I heard my grandfather say that the mosque was once protected by angels," Bilal whispered. "But now something else lives there." Hamza laughed. "Ghost stories won't scare me." Bilal lowered his voice. "Then prove it. Go inside after Maghrib." The challenge hung in the air, heavy with unspoken fear. Hamza hesitated, glancing toward the distant silhouette of the mosque. The sun was setting, casting long, eerie shadows across the ground. He took a deep breath. "I will," he said. The first step inside. As the final rays of sunlight faded, Hamza approached the ancient gates of the mosque. The wooden doors were slightly open, revealing a sliver of darkness within. He hesitated for a moment, his heart pounding against his ribs. The air inside was thick and heavy, carrying the scent of dust and something else, something damp and ancient. His footsteps echoed against the cracked marble floor as he stepped inside. The mosque was vast, its high ceilings disappearing into the darkness above. Broken chandeliers hung like lifeless skeletons, their glass shards reflecting the dim moonlight filtering through the shattered windows. Then he heard it. A whisper. Soft, almost indistinguishable, like the rustling of leaves on a windless night. Hamza froze, his breath hitching. He turned his head sharply, scanning the empty prayer hall. There was nothing. Just silence. "Who's there?" he called, his voice steadier than he felt. No answer. Only the distant creak of wood, as if the mosque itself was shifting. He took another step forward, his fingers brushing against an old Quran stand. The wood was smooth and cold beneath his touch, untouched by time. The whispering sound returned, this time closer. Hamza's eyes darted toward the far end of the mosque, where the mihrab stood, a semicircular niche in the wall, once the center of prayer. And then he saw it. A flicker of movement. A shadow that did not belong to him. The shadow in the mihrab. Hamza's heart pounded as he stepped closer. The mihrab was cracked with age, its once golden inscriptions faded into darkness. The whispering grew louder, weaving into incomprehensible murmurs. He swallowed hard. "Is someone here?" Silence. Then a breath. Not his own. A cold breeze brushed against his skin, though the air in the mosque was completely still. The darkness within the mihrab deepened, swirling like ink in water. Something was there. Something watching. Suddenly, the mosque's old wooden door slammed shut with a thunderous bang. Hamza whirled around, his pulse racing. He ran toward the entrance, but the door wouldn't budge. Then, the whispering turned into laughter. Low, guttural, and echoing from all directions. Hamza's legs trembled. He pressed his back against the wooden door, his fingers gripping the rusted handle. Who are you?" he stammered. The laughter stopped. A voice, deep and ancient, whispered from the mihrab. "You should not have come." Hamza's breath hitched. He felt something shift behind him, something cold pressing against his shoulder. He spun around. Nothing. But when he turned back to the mihrab, the darkness was no longer empty. Two glowing, amber eyes stared at him from the void. To be continued.